want to bring back in our guests. We've got Scott Bauer, Stephanie Lewicki, and Scott Connor with us. Stephanie, once again, everybody loves to speculate on what Apple could do with all their cash. They got a lot of it. It gets to be a pretty fun discussion, and JPMorgan analysts threw out a bunch of stuff this week, everything from Netflix to Activision, games, everything.
Yeah, Netflix, I don't think so. It would be, I think, a $189 billion acquisition. I just don't see that one happening. And his reasoning for that was, well, it's to get the content. Content is so expensive. Apple has been trying to go that route to get their own video streaming player. Maybe them just buying Netflix, that's how they can expand there. What I kind of think Netflix, what Apple maybe should do is stop buying their stock back. I think maybe a way for them to innovate or grow is focus more on their services side and do some kind of bundling package with maybe their music, if they do get in video, their cloud, their warranties, and charge kind of a monthly subscription could be an idea. Or maybe just Apple kind of plugs along like Microsoft did for so long.
Right. I think that's I think what it kind of boils down to is that core point, which is, does Apple really need to spend all its cash? It's like the company, growth slows for a couple of quarters. Scott, all of a sudden people want them to blow through half of their cash pile to go buy Netflix, one of the most richly valued companies in the market that comes with another $8 billion of debt. So, hey, for Netflix, maybe that would make sense because Apple can pay that off. But do you really think Tim Cook's going to go through half of his cash hoard?
No, and not only would that be the case, though, but think about it. They'd still have another, 50, 60 billion left over, right, for the next spend. But no, I don't think that happens at all. I think that they are very content sitting on this cash, dealing with all the speculation that's out there until whatever that maximum ripe opportunity comes up, which that may not come up for another 3-5 years. Who knows? It's all the pundits, it's all the analysts that are, put this speculation out there. I don't think anything comes from the company. I don't think they have any issues sitting on this cash.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ironic that what we saw happen in the marketplace. You had the FANG stocks split into two distinct groups, right? One went into communication services, the other went into IT. Now Apple's trying to put them back together again, right? So again, I'm scratching my head thinking, why do we split up? Now we're going back together. But I think what people are anxious about with Apple is, number one, product development's been slow, right? Obviously that's what weighed on the stock and brought it down from its highs from 220 down to 145 or something like that. There's nothing in the pipeline that's coming that's exciting. So there's been a little bit of pressure on them to say, okay, what are you going to do to create revenue?
There's things in the pipeline, they're just kind of far away.
Yeah, but the question, exactly. And again, services are improving. Everyone agrees on that. But is there something else out there? And I think that's what's causing all this speculation. That is it a good fit for Apple to come together with a content creator, and then Apple can move into that space and then jump into the whole advertising stream that they're not getting a big chunk of. So again, you could argue, I can see how it can make sense for Apple to move this way. The question is, do they want to spend most of that pile of cash on one company?
You know what, here I think is funny? We saw Google yesterday report earnings, beat on EPS, beat on revenue, but stock being punished because they're going to spend $25 billion on future investments.
Right.
Maybe they didn't clarify what that $25 billion is going to be, but here's the stock being punished for trying to innovate, and then we have all this speculation around Apple saying, hey, spend your cash, spend your cash.
Yeah. It's pretty, I like that because Google's got a whole department that's about spending cash.
Right.
The other bets, and it lost over $1 billion in the quarter. Scott, to Stephanie's point, there is innovation and paying for that innovation, and then there's just tacking something on. And what I think is also, to me, I run up on the logic a little bit with some difficulty for Apple's M&A speculation. Let's say they go and buy an Activision or a Netflix like the JPMorgan analyst suggests, or Sonos was the other one. Maybe that one actually makes a little bit more sense perhaps, but we know they've been spending on content already, so they're interested in developing that on their own. And we know that as a ecosystem for services, they've obviously been spending on that as well. So it also kind of required them to maybe abandon the stuff that they've already started a little bit to go out and get a Netflix and say, oh, never mind, we're not going to do it on our own.
No, that's a great point. And to me, the content and the subscription service that they can build themselves, or they have been building themselves already, that to me makes the most sense. And they have the patience to do it. Again, it's the analysts, it's the street saying, spend your cash, spend your cash. I believe inside there, Apple has a plan to monetize this content that they are developing, or whatever pipeline it is, and build it and bring it into the ecosystem that they have, which by far there is no ecosystem like the Apple ecosystem in the entire world. And if they can start scratching the surface in the next 12, 18 months here, who knows where that's going to take them. They have all the patience in the world.
Yeah.
Yep. For them, I'm sorry, I was just going to say, it's a question of how quickly can they get there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we've seen through Netflix with their $7 billion of debt, and that's a growing pile of debt, if you will, that it's very expensive to get into this space. It's late in the game, and a lot of commitments have already been made. So for them to sort of deliver quicker on that gateway app, this could be.
And if so, they might have had a better chance at Netflix near $300 because it got a little expensive. All right, Kevin Hanks is out in the Ameritrade newsroom. Give us a preview for Fast Market. Kev, what's going on?
On Fast Market today, it's all about the children, Oliver.
Oh, that's good.
It's Disney and it's Spotify. Everything that they use in a day, we're going to talk about in trade today.
All right, I'm on board with the Spotify part, but it may not be enough for kid to watch the Disney stuff. But Star Wars, all right. Up next, Fast Market. Join the guys as they trade with Mr. Scott Bauer as well. Thanks to Scott Connor and Stephanie Lewicki on the panel. Fast Market is up next. I'll see you this afternoon. For earnings, I'm Market on Close.